Kayleigh took issue with that. There was a conversation on Meet the Press about whether you call them untruths. Dan Rather responding on Facebook saying that the press must call Donald Trump on his lies, and he called it a lie is a lie is a lie. Why did you say that, Bakari?
Because it's the truth. I mean, the fact of the matter is, if you say something that is not accurate, if you intentionally say something that is misleading, if you intentionally say something that you know not to be the case, then fundamentally it's a lie. And so let me explain to you and the viewers what that means. Today, when Donald Trump tweets out that the intelligence agencies were supposed to meet with him today, and it's somehow so-called just changed and it sounds so strange to him. And then we find out that the intelligence agencies actually didn't say they were going to meet today. They were going to meet on Friday. That is a lie. I mean, this happens repeatedly with Donald Trump, and we have to call it what it is. Now, if that's how he wants to conduct his presidency, if that's how he wants to conduct his press conferences, then so be it. It's the duty for everyone else to open their eyes, and as Dan Rather said, call a lie is a lie is a lie is a lie.
But here, none of us know what happened, the conversation behind the scenes. Donald Trump was under the impression this was happening tomorrow. I know there was some dispute as to whether it would happen in person or whether it was going to happen not in person, but that is unclear as to those conversations. And I think what you said, Bakari, is really important. You said a lie is an intent to mislead, which is exactly what Gerard Baker said that Dan Rather had such a problem with. And he's exactly right. I was just looking up the list of some quote Trump lies, and one of them was when he asked, you know, Wisconsin, there's a 20% unemployment rate here, and he was inquiring about it, but it was classified as a lie. That was not an intent to mislead, but we're so quick to just label a lie when in fact there was not an intent there to mislead anyone at all.
But if you're not 100% sure of it, why put it out there? Go ahead, Bakari.
But even more importantly, you've actually repeated a Donald Trump lie a number of times, and I've had to correct you in the fact that Donald Trump quotes this African-American unemployment rate at being like 52 or 53%, when we know that's not the case, when we know that there was an intent to deceive, when we know it's not the truth. And I don't mind calling it a lie. I don't mind telling Donald Trump to his face that he has a problem with the truth. And we can actually, and I know that there's going to be this deflection by the right, and people are going to say Hillary Clinton this or the Clintons that, but the fact of the matter is, Donald Trump is the president-elect of the United States of America, and Donald Trump has a problem with the truth.
That's not true. And Bakari, how many times have people come on this program and they said he's called all Mexican immigrants rapists? That is, in my mind, a absolute lie. If you look at the nuance of the statement as what it was when Mexico sends people to government, that to me is a lie. So this is the point. We're getting into semantics here about what could be labeled a lie. You can call his statement a lie, and I can call yours a lie.
We're not.
If we want to talk about lies, if we want to talk about lies, we can't forget Barack Obama saying, if you like your doctor, you can keep it. So that's just one of many that come to mind when it comes to Barack Obama. I think it's important to hold our elected officials accountable for statements that they make.
And a lot of politicians who say things that they may not live up to or what have you. But if Donald Trump doesn't tell the truth, what's wrong with pointing it out? He is the president-elect of the United States. We're not going to go back to history. And by the way, we're talking about Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, whatever. I mean, quite frankly, they're fairly irrelevant right now because Hillary Clinton is not the president-elect of the United States.
And that's not the biggest. And that's not the biggest lie. And with all due respect, that's not the biggest lie that you think about when you think about Barack Obama and having this kind of conversation about Donald Trump. The biggest lie you think about is the fact that Donald Trump, again, went on Twitter and actually said that he, on good sources, had proof that Barack Obama's birth certificate was fake. That is a lie. Donald Trump lied about the President of the United States multiple times. Donald Trump lies, and he lies compulsively.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants to sit on here,
I've got to move on. I've got to move on.
I do think so, Don. It's important to point out just one quick thing, which is we do need to distinguish between political promises and actual statements of fact.
Okay, Hillary, I want to ask you this.
Statements of fact.
Because we were talking about Hillary Clinton, Laura Bush, all the first ladies are going to be there. All the former presidents are going to be there at the inauguration. It's got to be, and of course there's no doubt that Hillary Clinton was going to show up. She had to. She's the former first lady. Her husband was president. She's going to have to sit there at this inauguration. That's going to be interesting to watch.
It's going to be, I think, frankly, extremely difficult for Hillary Clinton. I think it would be difficult for any one who lost in such a close election, knowing that she had the majority of the American people voting for her, but lost, 50,000 votes in key states. So she's going to sit there, I'm sure, hoping the best for the country, but you can't help but fantasize in that moment what you would be saying if the situation were different. So, look, I admire her for showing up, and By the way, I expect that the Trumps are going to be extremely gracious to both her and President Clinton because the day calls for it, the moment calls for it.
Thank you all. I appreciate it. Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you.